Imagine finding out your wife was cheating, and instead of shouting, crying, or walking away, you smiled. Why? Because you had already planned the kind of revenge that would burn her world down without even raising your voice. And the best part? She wouldn't see it coming until it was far, far too late. Before I tell you how I turned betrayal into the sweetest revenge of my life, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories like this one. My name is Daniel, and until last year, I thought my marriage was unshakable. My wife, Emily, and I had been together for 7 years. We had a good home, good friends, and a life that to most people looked perfect. But sometimes perfection is just a well-polished lie. One evening, I was in my home office finishing up some work. Emily was out, supposedly having a late dinner with coworkers. I was tired, my mind half on the screen in front of me, when I heard a notification ding from the kitchen. Normally, I'd ignore it, but this time, it wasn't my phone, it was hers. I walked over casually, no suspicion in my mind, until I saw the name light up on her screen, Mark. I knew Mark. He was a coworker of hers, married, a guy I'd had over for drinks, even played poker with a few times. At first, I thought maybe it was work-related, but then I saw the preview of the message. Just 5 words that changed everything. Again, my chest tightened. My hands started to shake. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. And there it was, months of messages, sneaky plans, flirty photos, hotel bookings. It wasn't just an affair, it was a full-blown relationship happening right under my nose. I remember standing there in the kitchen, the fridge humming softly behind me, feeling this strange calm. Instead of exploding with rage, a different kind of thought took over. I wasn't going to confront her in the heat of the moment. No shouting, no tears, no begging for answers. No, I was going to end this in a way she'd never forget. I needed an ally, and I knew exactly who it would be, Mark's wife, Claire. I'd met her a few times at events. She had this kind, quiet way about her, the sort of woman who didn't deserve to be dragged into a mess like this. The next day, I found her number and sent a message. Claire, we need to talk. It's about Emily and Mark. We met at a small cafe. I remember her sitting across from me, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee she barely touched. I slid my phone across the table and let her read the messages. Her lips trembled. She kept shaking her head. And then, with a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "What do we do now?" That's when the plan came to life. I told her I didn't want a messy public fight. I wanted something smarter. Something that would make them feel the sting of what they'd done without us even raising our voices. There was a big charity gala coming up. Emily had been talking about it for weeks. It was her networking dream. All her coworkers would be there. Mark would be there. I told her we'd go together, and she lit up, completely unaware of what I was plotting. But I didn't plan on going with her. I planned on going with Claire. When the night came, I dressed in my best suit. Claire wore a stunning black dress. We walked in together, and heads turned. Emily was across the room when she saw us. Her smile faltered. Mark's jaw tightened. They didn't know what to do. We didn't rush to them. We mingled. We laughed. We took pictures with friends. I made sure to look completely at ease. Emily's eyes followed us all night, and I could see the unease building. Then, halfway through the evening, I asked the host for the microphone. I told the crowd how grateful I was for everyone's support for the charity, and then with the whole room watching, I turned to Emily and Mark. I said, and a special thanks to 2 people who've been inseparable this year. My wife, Emily, and her coworker, Mark. The room went quiet. Emily's face drained of all color. Mark froze, still holding his drink. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the big screen, and displayed the messages. Their own words, their own photos, flashing in front of everyone. Friends, coworkers, even their bosses. Gasps echoed through the hall. Emily's hands flew to her mouth. Mark looked like he wanted to sink through the floor. Claire stood beside me, calm and unshaken. She didn't need to say a word. Emily ran out, tears streaming down her face. Mark followed her, but before he could reach the door, Claire stepped close and whispered something in his ear. I saw his expression change instantly, anger, then panic. She'd been collecting her own evidence for months, bank statements, emails, enough for a brutal divorce. And the best part? Mark's company had a morality clause. Having an affair with a coworker was grounds for immediate termination. Within a week, he was unemployed. As for Emily, she tried to call me, text me, explain. I never replied. While she was still at her sister's that night, I moved her belongings into storage, changed the locks, and blocked her number. The last image I have of her is standing outside our house days later, knocking on a door that would never open for her again. Claire and I didn't become lovers. That wasn't what this was about. But we became friends. Allies. Every so often, we'd meet for coffee and share updates about how much better life was without them. And every time I saw her smile, I knew we'd both won. Sometimes the best revenge isn't screaming or throwing punches. It's silence. It's smiling while you quietly dismantle someone's world piece by piece until they're left standing in the ruins they built themselves. Thanks for watching. If you've ever been betrayed, remember your calm can be more devastating than their chaos. See you in the next story.